Tonight, you are going to leave, not in a hurry and not in fear, but slowly, the way the tide leaves a shore. And you are going to go outward in a single straight line away from your own bed, out through the ceiling, out through the roof, out through the last of the warm night air. And at every step of the way, you will ask yourself the same quiet question. Could I still turn back from here? For a long while, the answer will be yes. You could still turn back. And then, somewhere very far out in the dark, the answer will stop being yes. And this is the story of exactly where that happens. But that is a long way off, and there is no rush to reach it. For now, you are only rising. The city thins beneath you. The clouds, if there are clouds tonight, fall away below like a floor of pale wool, and then even they are gone. And you keep going up past the height where the tallest weather lives, up to a place where the air itself begins to give up. There is a line here. It has no color and no wall and nothing to mark it, and yet it is real, and it has a name, and its name is the Kármán line. Say it softly to yourself as you cross it. The Kármán line. It sits about 100 kilometers straight above the ground you are lying on, which is no distance at all, really. Less than an hour if the road went straight up. Less than the drive you might take to visit someone you love on a slow afternoon. And yet everything changes at this line. Below it, the sky. Above it, space. Below it, air thick enough to hold a wing, to carry a bird, to carry the sound of your own breathing. Above it, nothing to push against, nothing to lean on. A silence so complete that it is not really silence at all, but the simple absence of anything to carry a sound. You have crossed out of the sky. You are in the dark now, and the dark is very gentle here because you have not gone far. And when you look back, the thread of light behind you is the whole round shoulder of the earth, lit blue and white and turning, close enough that you could name the sea you swam in as a child. Feel how near it still is. That is the thing to hold on to at this first small height. You have left the sky, and yet home is right there, filling half of everything you can see, so bright it warms the side of your face. The Kármán line is a border, but it is the kindest kind of border, the kind you can step back across whenever you like. A fall from here would only be a long, slow return. Gravity has not let go of you. Gravity will never quite let go of you for a long time yet. You could still turn back. From the Kármán line, you could always, always turn back, and part of you knows this, and that knowing is the first soft weight settling over you tonight, like a blanket pulled up to the chin. So let yourself hang here a moment just above the last of the air, at the very edge of the sky. Below you, the atmosphere is a thin blue rind, thinner than you ever imagined it from underneath, a skin of breath wrapped around a stone. And everyone you have ever known is living their whole life inside that thin blue skin, breathing the same shallow shell of air. And it is beautiful, and it is fragile, and it holds. The thread of light behind you is the entire world you came from, and it is not going anywhere. It turns below you, slow and patient, showing you an ocean, then a coastline, then the lights of a continent coming on as it rolls into its own night. There is nothing frightening here. There is only the first small distance and the knowledge that you can undo it. The Kármán line does not trap anyone. It is only a name we gave to the place where the sky ends, a line drawn in a book so that we would have somewhere to point when we said, there, that is where space begins. You have crossed it now. You are the smallest possible way from home. 100 kilometers, a single hour of straight-up road, and the whole lit blue shoulder of the earth is still close enough to touch with your eyes. Rest here as long as you like before we go higher. There is no clock out here, no window that closes, no last chance. The thread of light behind you turns and turns. You could still turn back. You have only just begun to leave, and already the leaving feels like floating, and floating, tonight, feels a great deal like sleep. You have crossed the Kármán line, and now you rise a little higher, and here, not very far above where the sky ended, there is a room. It is a real room with lights on inside it, and it is moving. It circles the whole of the earth once every 90 minutes or so, going so fast that it falls around the world in an endless curve and never touches down. And inside it, right now, tonight, while you are lying in your bed, there are people awake and people asleep. This is the International Space Station, and it is the nearest inhabited place to your home that is not your home. Picture it. A cluster of silver cans and long blue wings of glass drinking the sunlight, strung together in the dark, threading around the planet again and again while the continents turn beneath it. Come alongside it, match its great falling speed until it hangs steady beside you, and look in through one of its small round windows. Someone floats there in the soft light, hair drifting, a cup of something warm held in both hands, and below them, filling the window, is the same thread of light behind you, the same blue shoulder of the earth you have been watching. Only now there is a witness to it, a person who chose to come up here and live for a while inside that thin blue skin's reflection. They see a sunrise every 90 minutes, 16 of them a day, 16 dawns and 16 dusks, the Terminator line sweeping across the oceans over and over, and after a while, they say, you stop counting them, the way you stop counting your own breaths. Home is right there below. That is what to hold at this height. From the station, the earth is not a marble and not a photograph. It is enormous. It fills the whole floor of the sky, close enough that you can watch a storm turning over an ocean, close enough to see the wake of a river spilling brown into a green sea, close enough that the people up here can pick out the glow of the cities where they were born. They are only a few 100 kilometers up, no farther above the ground than one city is from the next, a distance you could drive between breakfast and lunch if the road ran straight up. And so, from here, you could still turn back. It would be as simple as slowing down. Stop falling around the world, and you would fall gently down through the returning air, and the air would catch you and carry you home. That nearness is a whole tenderness of this place. The people inside that lit room are farther from the ground than almost anyone in history, and yet they are close enough to feel homesick, close enough to press a hand to the window when their own country rolls into view, close enough that a message from below reaches them in a single held breath. They are away, but they are not lost. Nothing out here has begun to be lost yet. The thread of light behind you is still the whole warm world, turning slow and blue and patient, and the little room circles it like a moth that loves the lamp too much to leave. Let yourself drift beside the station a while, in the long silence broken only by the hum of its machines, keeping the air sweet inside. Watch it slide into the shadow of the earth, into the night side, where the cities come out beneath it in threads and webs of gold, whole coastlines drawn in light, and then watch it slide out again into a sudden, silent dawn, the sun rising in a band of blue and orange laid flat along the curve of the world. 90 minutes, another sunrise, another day and night gone by in the time it takes you to grow drowsy. There is nothing to fear here. You are still so near. You could reach down, it feels, and rest your hand on the whole sleeping world. The people in that room will come home. They always come home. In a few months, a small ship will carry them back down through the fire of return and set them, blinking and heavy-limbed, back onto the ground they left, and they will feel the strange forgotten weight of their own bodies and be glad of it. Return from here is a thing you can schedule. You could still turn back tonight whenever you liked, so let the little lit room circle on, carrying its sleepers around and around the blue shoulder of the earth, 16 dawns a day, 16 dusks. The thread of light behind you never once out of sight. You are drifting now, a few 100 kilometers up, in good company, in the nearest room to home that is not home. And it is enough, for now, to hang here in the falling light and rest, and let the world turn beneath you while you go. The little lit room falls away below you now, still circling, and you keep rising out past the height where any human being has ever lived, out along the black road that leads away from the world. And you go a long way this time, not 100 kilometers, not a few hundred, but farther than all of that put together, hundreds of times farther, out to a gray and silent stone that hangs in the dark with the whole earth reflected in the eyes of everyone who has ever looked up at it. You are going to the moon, and not to just anywhere on the moon, but to a flat gray plain with a gentle name, a place called Tranquility, where, long ago, two people set down a spidery craft and climbed out and stood upon another world. Set your feet where they stood. This is the farthest that any human being has ever traveled from home. Farther than this, no person has ever gone. Stand at Tranquility Base in the fine gray dust that has lain undisturbed for longer than there have been oceans on the earth. Dust so old and so still that the footprints pressed into it will stay there, sharp-edged and perfect, for millions of years, because there is no wind here to blur them and no rain to wash them away. Your own boot leaves its mark beside the old ones, and it, too, will outlast every city you have ever seen. Now turn slowly and look back for the thread of light behind you, and catch your breath gently because it has changed. The earth is no longer the floor of the sky. The earth is no longer enormous. It has become a marble, a small blue marble, wrapped in white, hanging alone in the black above the gray hills, and you could hide it behind your outstretched thumb. Everything you have ever known, everyone you have ever loved, every sea and city and every single life in all of history, all of it is inside that one small blue marble you could cover with your thumb, and it is the most beautiful and the most fragile thing you have ever seen, and it is silent, and it does not make a sound, and it hangs there in the dark and simply shines. This is a great distance. The moon is roughly 250,000 miles away, which is a number too large to feel, so feel it another way. If you could drive there straight up the black road at the speed you take on a motorway, it would take you about half a year of driving without ever stopping, day and night, to arrive. That is how far you have come. And yet, even from here, even at the farthest edge of all human travel, you could still turn back. It has been done. A handful of people stood on this gray plain and looked at that blue marble, and then they climbed back into their small craft and they came home, down through the fire, into the sea, and were gathered up and held. The road is long, but it runs both ways. That is the quiet mercy of the moon. It is far, farther than feels possible when you look at the little marble of home, and still it lets you leave. The Earth's gravity has thinned out here to almost nothing, a faint and distant pull, but it has not vanished, and a ship with enough breath in its tanks can still fall the long way back down that invisible slope toward the blue. You are at the very end of where we have been, standing in the oldest dust in reach, and the door behind you is still open. You could still turn back, so stay a while in the great gray stillness. There is no sound here at all, not the smallest whisper, because there is no air to carry one, and the silence is not empty but full, the way a held breath is full. The sky above you is not blue and never will be. It is black at noon, black and scattered with unblinking stars that do not twinkle because there is no air to make them shiver. And low in that black sky hangs the blue marble of home, turning so slowly you cannot see it move, showing you an ocean, and then, hours later, a different ocean. You have come as far as anyone has ever come, and it has cost you nothing that cannot be undone. Let that settle over you like the gray dust settling slow and soundless in the low and gentle gravity. The thread of light behind you is a marble now, small enough to hide behind your thumb, and you can still go back to it whenever you choose. But you are drowsy, and the dust is deep and soft and old, and there is no reason at all to hurry home tonight. Rest here first on the oldest ground within reach under the black sky, with the blue marble watching over you like a nightlight left on in another room. Leave the gray dust of the moon behind you, now the little blue marble still hanging over the hills, and go farther out along the black road, out to a place where there is nothing to stand on at all. You are going to a spot in empty space, a spot with no ground and no stone, chosen only because the pulls of the earth and the sun happen to balance there, so that a thing left in that spot will simply stay, quietly, without falling toward anything. There is a telescope parked there tonight, a great golden eye folded open in the cold, staring away from the sun into the deep, and its name is Webb, and the still cold place where it floats is called the second Lagrange point, 4 times farther from you than the moon, and then 100 times farther again. Come and float beside it. There is a great tenderness in this place, because it is a place chosen for stillness. Everything else you have visited was moving, falling, circling, spinning. Here, a thing can simply rest, held in balance between the pull of home and the pull of the fire at the center of everything. And so the telescope rests, its golden petals turned outward, its back forever to the sun, kept always in its own cold shadow, so that it can see the faintest and oldest light there is. It is looking at galaxies so far away that their light has been traveling toward it since before the Earth existed. And it does this from a still cold parking spot in the dark, about 1,000,000 miles farther out than the moon, wrapped in a sunshade the size of a tennis court to keep even the smallest warmth from spoiling its sight. Turn now, gently, and look back for the thread of light behind you. The blue marble is smaller still. From here, the earth and the moon hang together in the same glance, 2 small companions in the dark, the marble and its gray pebble, and you can hold them both behind a single fingertip. And yet, even now, this is still very close. This is still the doorstep of home. The telescope out here, cold and patient and far, is close enough that we still speak to it, still send our questions and receive its answers, the words crossing the gulf in a few slow seconds. It is far, but it is not out of reach. It is not out of touch. Nothing out here has yet gone out of touch. And so, even from this still cold place, you could still turn back. The balance that holds you here is a gentle one, easily broken, and the smallest push toward home would begin the long fall back down the invisible slope toward the blue marble. Ships could come here and ships could leave. The road still runs both ways. You are farther than the moon now, farther than any person has traveled. And still the door behind you stands open. Still the thread of light behind you is close enough to answer when you call. So rest here in the great stillness beside the golden eye that never sleeps. Feel how quiet a chosen stillness is. There is no falling here, no circling, no rush. There is only the deep cold and the patient telescope drinking the oldest light in the universe. And behind you, small and blue and paired with its gray companion, the marble of home, turning too slowly to see. The telescope stares outward, away from the sun, into the ancient dark, and gathers light that set out before there were mountains, before there were seas, before there was anyone at all to wonder where it came from. And it does this without effort, without strain, simply by being still and letting the light arrive. There is a lesson in that for a body trying to sleep. You do not have to reach for rest. You only have to be still and let it arrive. The telescope does not chase the ancient light. It waits in the cold, in the balance. And the light comes to it across 10 billion years and more and settles softly on its golden mirror. You are floating beside it now, 1,000,000 miles past the moon, held in the same gentle balance, and there is nothing at all that you must do. The thread of light behind you is small, but it is there, and it is watching, and you could still turn back to it any time you please. But the golden eye has taught you the trick of it. Be still. Let it arrive. So let the stillness gather over you the way the ancient light gathers on the mirror, slow and cold and without any effort at all, and drift here a while at the edge of home's long reach, at the still point in the dark, and rest. Now leave the still cold parking spot behind and the golden eye that never sleeps, and set out across a much wider gulf than any you have crossed so far, out past the balance point, out across a stretch of empty black so vast that the earth and the sun both shrink behind you together. You are going to another world now, a real one, with ground to stand on, a whole planet the color of rust and old blood, and you are going to a wide, dry crater on its surface with the name Jezero. Say it gently, Yez-a-ro, where long ago a river spilled into a lake and left behind it a fan of pale sediment that is still there, dry now, waiting under a thin and dusty sky. This is Mars, and Mars is the first place from which you cannot simply turn around and leave. Set your feet in the rusty dust of Jezero crater. The ground here is cold and red, strewn with dark stones. And above you, the sky is not black and not blue, but a pale dim butterscotch, the color of weak tea, because there is a thin haze of fine dust always hanging in the sparse air. There is a river's ghost beneath your feet. Billions of years ago, water ran here. Real water, and pooled in this crater, and you are standing on the delta it built. And if life ever stirred on this world, its faint traces may be sleeping in these very stones. It is quiet here, the quiet of a place that was once alive with water and has been dry and still for longer than there has been complex life on Earth. Turn now and look for the thread of light behind you. And here is the first small ache of the journey. The sun is smaller. It is still the brightest thing in the sky, still warm on your face, but it is visibly smaller, a coin instead of a plate. And the earth, the blue marble, the whole warm world you came from, is no longer a marble at all. It is a star, a single blue-white star, low in the butterscotch sky at dawn, no bigger than any other point of light, and you would not know it was home unless someone told you which star to look for. Everyone you love is on that one pale point in the morning sky of Mars. And this is where the door begins to close, only a little, only for the first time. From here, you cannot simply turn back. The distance to Mars is so great, and the two worlds move so differently around the sun that you cannot leave whenever you wish. You must wait. You must wait for Earth and Mars to swing around into the right places in their long, slow orbits, for the road between them to open, and that alignment comes only once in about every 2 years, and then the journey itself takes the better part of a year. So the answer to could I still turn back has changed for the first time since you left your bed. It is no longer simply yes. It is yes, but not now. Yes, but you must wait for the window. Yes, but the sky itself decides when. Do not let this frighten you. It is not a trap. It is only the first place where return becomes something you must be patient for, something gated not by walls but by time, by the slow turning of the worlds. A ship that came here could still go home. It would only have to wait for the heavens to line up the road, and then it could fall back across the gulf toward that pale blue star and grow closer, and watch the star become a marble again, and the marble become a world. The return is still real. It has only become something you must wait for. And out here, learning to wait, learning that home will still be there when the window opens, is its own kind of peace. So rest a while in the cold red quiet of Jezero Crater, on the dry delta of a river that ran before the first fish swam on Earth. The butterscotch sky darkens toward its long evening, the small sun sinks, and there, in the deepening dusk, that one pale blue star rises or sets, the Earth home, everyone, a single point of light you could cover with the tip of your smallest finger. You cannot go to it tonight. The window is not open, but it will open. It always opens. The road is only closed for now, not forever. And there is a strange comfort in that, in being somewhere you cannot immediately leave, because it means there is nothing to do but stay and rest and wait for the sky to decide. The thread of light behind you is a blue star now, patient and unhurried, and you could still turn back to it when the window comes. Until then, lie down in the red dust under the butterscotch dark and let the waiting be a kind of sleep. Rise now from the red dust of Mars, from the dry delta of Jezero Crater, and go outward again, farther from the small, warm coin of the sun, into a wide and scattered emptiness where the worlds grow far apart and small. You are crossing into the belt of asteroids now, a great loose ring of stones and rubble strewn around the sun between Mars and the giant planets. And though people imagine it as a crowded field, it is nothing of the kind. It is mostly empty. The stones drift so far apart that you could stand on one and see nothing else at all but stars. And you are going to the largest of them, a round gray world of rock and ice, small enough to be gentle and large enough to be a world in its own right. And its name is Ceres. Say it softly from your ease. Set your feet on Ceres. It is a small world, so small that your own weight here is almost nothing, so small that a firm step might carry you slowly up off the ground and let you drift back down like a leaf. The surface is dark and old, cratered and gray, and in some of those craters there are strange pale spots, bright deposits of salt left behind where briny water welled up from below long ago and froze and faded in the airless dark. It is a quiet, faded, patient little world, the biggest thing in the whole scattered belt, and it has been circling out here in the cold, alone among the drifting stones, since the beginning of everything. Turn and look for the thread of light behind you. The sun is smaller again. Smaller than it was on Mars, smaller than a coin now, more like a bright and distant lamp, still the brightest thing in the sky, but no longer warm, no longer close, just a fierce white point that lights the gray ground without heating it. And the Earth home is gone. You cannot pick it out at all. It is lost in the glare beside the shrinking sun, one dim mote, too faint and too near that bright point to be seen, and you would have to know exactly where to look and shield your eyes just so. And even then, you might not find it. The thread of light behind you is now simply the sun. And somewhere in its glare, too small to see, is everything you have ever known. And here, the door swings a little further closed. On Mars, return was gated by time, by waiting for the window. Here, it is gated by something heavier. Coming back from the belt now costs years. Not a wait of months for a road to open, but years of travel to cross the gulf you have crossed. Years falling back toward that distant lamp. Years watching it slowly, slowly grow. Could you still turn back? Yes, still yes. A ship out here could still turn its nose toward the sun and begin the long fall home, and it would get there in time, in years. The road still runs both ways, but a road has grown long enough now that a return is no longer a journey. It is a chapter of a life. Let that settle gently, without alarm. You are far from home, farther than worlds, out among the scattered stones where the sun is only a lamp, but nothing is lost. The stones drift by, slow and gray and enormous and far apart, each one alone in its own patch of dark. And Ceres holds you softly against its dusty skin with a gravity so faint it is almost a suggestion, almost a kindness. You could push off from here and fall for years back toward the light. The return would cost you years, but the years would pass and the lamp would grow and become a coin and become a sun and one day become a marble of blue again. It is still possible. It is only slow. And slowness out here is the whole gift of the place. There is nowhere to be. There is nothing to hurry toward. The belt is patient beyond all understanding, drifting and drifting around the distant lamp, in no rush at all, having waited since the birth of the sun and content to wait until its death. Let yourself borrow that patience. Lie against the gray and gentle skin of Ceres, in the faint far light, weighing almost nothing, and let the scattered stones drift by. The thread of light behind you is only the sun now, a bright, cold lamp with everything you love hidden somewhere in its glare. And you could still turn back to it, though the turning back would cost you years. But there are no years tonight. There is only this slow gray world holding you softly in the dark, and the drifting of the ancient stones, and the deep old patience of a place that has never once been in a hurry. Borrow it now and rest. Leave the gray and gentle skin of Ceres now, and the drifting stones of the belt, and cross a gulf far wider than any yet, out to where the giant worlds begin, the enormous ones, the ones made mostly of gas and cloud that could swallow the earth whole and hardly notice. You are going to the greatest of them, a striped and stormy giant with a red eye of storm bigger than our whole world. But you are not going to the giant itself because it has no ground to stand on. You are going to one of its moons, a small bright moon sheathed all over in ice, smooth and pale and cracked like the shell of a frozen egg. And its name is Europa. Say it gently, Europa. Set your feet on the ice of Europa. It is a strange and lovely place to stand, a whole world made of ice, its surface a pale plain of frozen white scored across with long reddish cracks and ridges, wandering lines where the ice has split and shifted and healed again over ages. And here is the wonder of it, the secret it holds beneath your feet. Under this shell of ice, kilometers down, there is an ocean, a real ocean, of real liquid water, dark and deep and warm enough to stay liquid, wrapped all the way around this little moon, holding more water than all the seas of the earth combined. You are standing on the frozen lid of a hidden sea, and no one knows what may be moving in the dark water below. Turn now and look for the thread of light behind you, and here you will feel a deeper cold than any yet, because the sun has shrunk almost to nothing. It is no longer a lamp. It is a star. The brightest star in the sky, yes, far brighter than any other, casting sharp blue shadows across the ice, but a star all the same, a fierce white point so distant that it gives almost no warmth at all. And you could no more find the earth beside it than you could find a single grain of sand thrown into a searchlight. The thread of light behind you has become a bright star among the stars, and the difference between the sun and the night is now only the difference between one star and the rest, and the door is swung further still. Out here at the giant world, return is a matter of many years, a long fall inward across a gulf so vast that the light itself, the fastest thing there is, takes most of an hour to cross it. Could you still turn back? Yes. Even here, still yes, but only just, only barely, in the sense that a ship could point itself inward and spend a great slow span of years falling back toward that bright star, growing warmer by degrees, watching the star swell back into a lamp and then a coin and then a sun. The road runs both ways yet, but it is a road now measured in the better part of a decade, and you feel, standing on the ice, that you have come to somewhere genuinely far, somewhere the warmth of home does not reach, and yet there is no despair in it, only awe, because look what is here at the cold edge of the sun's warmth. An ocean, a whole hidden ocean, kept liquid not by sunlight at all, but by the giant world's own kneading pull, tides working the moon's insides and warming them from within. So far from the sun that the sun is only a star, and still there is dark water, moving. It is a reminder that warmth does not only come from the light you can see. Some warmth comes from within, from being held and pulled and worked upon, and it can keep an ocean liquid at the frozen edge of everything. So rest here on the pale cracked ice, in the sharp blue starlight of a sun grown small. The ice is smooth beneath you and older than memory, and below it, far below, the dark sea turns in its endless night, warm in its own way, needing no light at all. The thread of light behind you is a bright star now, one among many, and you could still turn back to it, though the turning back would cost the better part of a decade. But you do not have a think about that tonight. There is only the ice and the hidden ocean beneath it, and the far cold brilliance of a sun that has become a star. Let the deep quiet of the frozen sea rise up through the ice and into you. Everything here is patient and cold and slow and unhurried, and the warmth that matters is the warmth held inside, kept alive by the slow and constant pull of something greater. You are a long way out now, at the edge of the sun's warmth, standing on the lid of a secret ocean, and there is nothing to do and nowhere to be. The thread of light behind you is only a star. Let the cold be gentle. Let the hidden sea rock you. Rest. Leave the pale cracked ice of Europa and its hidden ocean turning in the dark below, and go outward again to the next giant, the one with the rings, the loveliest world in all the family of the sun, a great pale golden sphere wearing a halo of 1 billion circling flecks of ice. But again, you will not stand on the giant itself, for it has no ground. You will go instead to its largest moon, the only moon in all the sun's family with a thick sky of its own, a strange dim world wrapped in orange haze where it rains, not water, but cold, liquid gas, and its name is Titan, say it plainly, Titan. Set your feet on the surface of Titan. It is unlike anywhere you have stood. Overhead there is no black star-scattered sky, but a thick orange smog, a haze so deep that you cannot see the sun through it at all, only a dim brown-orange glow spread evenly across the whole dome of the sky, the light of a permanent, sourceless dusk. The ground is a dark plain of water ice hard as rock in the terrible cold, and across it wind actual rivers and pool actual lakes and seas, but they are not made of water. They are made of methane and ethane, gases you know only as invisible things, here so cold that they run as cold, clear liquid, filling the rivers, lapping at the shores of black seas under the orange sky. It rains here, slow fat drops of cold liquid gas falling through the thick air, and it drizzles and pools and flows, a whole weather made of a substance that on earth you could never even see. Turn now and look for the thread of light behind you, and here you cannot even find it. The sun is a rumor. Somewhere above the thick orange haze it is still shining, but you cannot see it. Only the dim even glow it makes, filtering down through the smog, a light like the last gray light of a winter afternoon that never brightens and never fades. Sunlight here is a rumor, a memory, a faint diffuse glow with no source you can point to. The thread of light behind you is hidden entirely behind the veil of the sky, and you must simply trust that it is there, above the orange, small and distant and warm to no one. And the door is swung heavily now. From Titan, return is a journey of many long years across an immense cold gulf, so far that sunlight itself, leaving the sun, takes well over an hour to arrive, a gulf so wide that a message sent home would take that same long span each way, so that a single question and its answer would fill an afternoon. Could you still turn back? Yes, still, but the yes is faint now, and heavy, and slow. A ship could turn inward from Titan and fall home across the years, watching the orange fade, Watching the hidden sun climb back out from behind the haze of distance and become a lamp, and then a coin, and then a sun. It is possible. The road runs both ways. But the road is very long and very cold, and lit by a sun you can no longer even see. And still there is no despair here, only a soft, strange wonder. 'Cause look what the cold and the distance have made. Rivers, rain, lakes, and seas with waves and tides and shorelines. A whole familiar weather of falling drops and flowing streams and pooling seas. All of it built out of something that back home is only invisible air. So far from the sun that the sun itself is only a rumor behind the haze. And still there is rain. Still there are rivers finding their way down to a sea. Still the old patient shapes of water repeated in a colder substance under an alien sky. The universe makes rivers wherever it can, out of whatever it has, even here, even now. So rest a while on the dark shore of a cold black sea, under the orange dusk that never changes, and listen. There might be the faintest lapping of the methane sea against the icy shore, the slowest small sound of liquid moving in the deep cold, and the soft patter now and then of cold rain falling through the thick air. It is dim, and it is cold, and it is very, very far, and yet it is not lonely because the old shapes of home are here too, the rivers and the rain and the patient sea. The thread of light behind you is hidden now behind the veil of distance, and you could still turn back to it in time, across the years, but the orange dusk is soft, and the cold rain is slow, and the black sea laps and laps at the icy shore. There is nothing to do here but listen and drift, and let the sourceless dusk fold gently over you and rest. Leave the orange dusk of Titan, the cold black seas and the slow rain of liquid gas, and go outward once more across another vast, dark gulf to the last of the true giant worlds, the farthest full planet of them all, a deep and perfect blue, the color of the deepest part of an ocean, a world of fierce winds and faint far light called Neptune. And again, you will not stand on the giant, for it is only cloud and gas the whole way down. So you will go to its strange large moon, a moon that circles its planet backwards, the wrong way round, as though it wandered in from somewhere else long ago and was captured, a frozen pink and blue world with geysers of cold nitrogen breathing faintly into the dark. And its name is Triton, say it plainly. Triton. Set your feet on the frozen surface of Triton. It is one of the coldest places you will ever stand, colder than almost anywhere in the whole family of the sun. So cold that gases which are air on Earth lie frozen here as bright pale frost across the ground, a delicate skin of frozen nitrogen tinted pink and pale blue and cantaloupe orange, cracked into strange patterns like the rind of a melon. And here and there, faint dark plumes rise slowly from the surface, geysers of cold nitrogen gas drifting up into the thin dark and smearing sideways in a wind you cannot feel, the whole world quietly, coldly breathing. Turn now and look for the thread of light behind you, and the sun is almost lost. It is a point now, a single fierce white point no different from the brighter stars, casting a light so faint that here at noon, it is dimmer than a bright moonlit night on Earth, 1,000 times fainter, so that everything lies in a deep blue twilight, a permanent cold dusk under a black sky. The sun gives no warmth you could ever feel, and barely enough light to cast a shadow. The thread of light behind you is now only the brightest of the stars, and everything you have ever loved is somewhere in the faint glow around that one dim point, unreachable to the eye, a whisper of light in a great dark, and the door is swung nearly shut. From Triton, from the last true planet, return would eat a decade whole and more. The gulf back to the sun is so immense that light itself crossing it takes hours upon hours, so that the sun you see is not where it is but where it was, and a message home and its reply would take most of a day to complete their journey. Could you still turn back? Yes. Still, faintly yes. A ship could turn from Triton and begin the long, long fall inward, and across 10 years or more it would climb back up out of the cold and the dark, watching that dim star slowly brighten into a sun again. It can still be done. The road, even here, still runs both ways, but it is a road that would swallow a decade of a life, and you can feel, standing in the pale frost under the black sky, that you have come to the very last outpost of the worlds. And yet, even here, there is no despair, only the deep, still awe of a place at the edge of things. The frozen world breathes its slow, cold geysers into the dark. The pink and blue frost lies delicate and undisturbed, and that dim, distant sun, faint as it is, still reaches here, still lays down its thin blue twilight across the melon-rind ground, still, after all these years and all this distance, arrives. The light is old and weak and cold, but it is not gone. It came all this way. It found you here, at the last true planet, in the blue dusk, at the edge of the sun's long reach. So rest a while on the frozen pink and blue ground of Triton in the deep blue twilight, under the black and starry sky, and watch the slow cold gazers rise and drift and settle. It is the farthest true planet, the last outpost, and it is silent and it is cold and it is unimaginably far. And still the old dim light finds its way here, and still the world breathes softly in the dark. The thread of light behind you is only a bright star now, with home somewhere in its glow. And you could still turn back to it, though the turning back would eat 10 years and more. But there are no years tonight, and no decade to cross, and nowhere at all to be. There is only the pale frost, and the slow-breathing geysers, and the deep blue dusk at the edge of the worlds. Let it settle over you, cold and gentle and slow, and rest. Leave the pale frost of Triton and the last true planet behind you, and drift outward into a stranger, emptier country, out past the giants entirely, into a wide, thin scattering of small, icy worlds, circling far beyond Neptune in the Gifari, deep cold and the deep dark. This is the belt at the edge of the worlds, a great sparse ring of frozen bodies, and among them is a small and gentle world with a heart-shaped plain of pale nitrogen ice upon its face, a world we once called the last planet and now call something dearer, one of the far small worlds, and its name is Pluto. Say it plainly, Pluto. A small spacecraft once flew past it out of the dark and back into the dark, and its name was New Horizons. Set your feet on the surface of Pluto. It is a small, cold world, smaller than our own moon, and yet it is a true world, with mountains of water ice hard as granite in the cold, with wide, smooth plains of frozen nitrogen that flow slowly over ages like glaciers, and with a great pale region shaped like a heart laid across its face, so that this little far world seems from a distance to be offering its heart up to the dark. There is a thin haze in the sky, blue at the horizon, and the ground is tinted soft browns and creams and the palest reds, and everything is still and cold, beyond cold, and silent and old. Turn now and look for the thread of light behind you, and the sun is gone as the sun. It is only a star now, a bright star, yes, still the brightest in the sky, but only a star. A point of light no wider than a pinprick, giving a light so faint that noon here is a deep dusk, 1,000 times dimmer than the daylight you know. If you held up your hand, it would cast the faintest shadow or none. And there is no warmth at all, none, not the smallest breath of it. The thread of light behind you is a bright, cold star among the stars, and everything you have ever known is lost in the faint glow beside it, too small and too near that point to be found. And here the door has all but closed on the worlds. This is the edge of the crowd of worlds, the last of the places with names and faces, the outer shore of the sun's own family. Beyond here the worlds run out. Return from this far shore is a journey of many years, more years than from anywhere yet, so many that a whole span of a life could pass in the crossing. Could you still turn back? Yes, still, but only barely, only in the sense that it remains possible that a ship could point itself inward and fall for a decade and more toward that distant star and slowly, slowly watch it grow. The road runs both ways, faintly, still, but you are standing now on the last doorstep of the worlds, and the warmth of home no longer reaches you at all. And yet, once more, there is no despair in it, only a soft and aching tenderness, because look what waited for you here at the very edge. A heart, a great pale heart laid across the face of the last small world, formed by nothing but the slow flow of frozen gas over ages. And yet there it is, a heart, at the outer shore of everything, turned up toward the dark. The universe did not put it there on purpose, and yet you found it at the edge, when you had come as far as the worlds go, a heart waiting in the cold. It is only ice, and still it is a heart. So rest here a while on the frozen heart of the last small world, in the deep dusk, under the black sky where the sun is only a bright, cold star. The nitrogen glaciers flow too slowly to see. The thin blue haze hangs at the horizon. Everything is silent and cold and patient and old and utterly at peace out here on the outer shore of the sun's own family where the worlds run out. The thread of light behind you is only a star now, with home lost somewhere in its faint glow. And you could still turn back to it, though the turning back would swallow years upon years of a life. But there are no years out here on the frozen heart, and no crossing to make tonight. There is only the pale, still plain, and the flowing ice too slow to see, and the deep blue dusk, and the great cold silence of the edge of the worlds. You have come as far as the named places go. Beyond here, it is only the dark, but not yet. Not tonight. Tonight, there is only the heart of ice beneath you, and the long dusk, and rest. Leave the frozen heart of the last small world behind you now, and drift on outward past the edge of the crowd of worlds into a country with no ground at all, no stone to stand on, no surface anywhere, only the thinning wind of the sun blowing out into the dark. For the sun does not end at its farthest planet. It breathes. It sends out a constant faint wind of particles in every direction, and that wind fills a great invisible bubble around all the worlds, a vast realm the sun rules simply by breathing into it. And there is a place far out here where that wind finally slows and stops and gives way to the wind between the stars. That boundary has a name. It is the heliopause. Say it gently, Heliopause, and only one thing made by human hands has ever crossed it. A small, quiet spacecraft called Voyager, still going, still whispering back to us across the dark. You cannot stand here, so simply float at the edge of the sun's own country. There is nothing to see with your eyes, no wall, no line, nothing marked, and yet something changes as you cross, something you would feel if you had the right senses for it. For on one side of this invisible shore blows the wind of your own sun, the last faint breath of home reaching out into the dark. And on the other side blows the wind of the wider galaxy, the mingled breath of all the other stars. You are crossing out of the sun's country and into the space between the stars. This is the true edge, not the edge of the worlds, which you passed already, but the edge of the sun's own reach, the last shore of everything the sun can call its own. Turn now and look for the thread of light behind you, and the sun is only a star, a bright star still, brighter than any other in this sky, but only a star, one point of light among the scattered thousands, no longer a sun in any way you could feel, no warmth, no disk, no light to speak of, only a single fierce bright point that you would have to be told was once your sun. The thread of light behind you has finally, truly, become one star among the stars, and you understand floating here at the invisible shore that from now on, home is not a place in the sky, but a star to be picked out from among its neighbors, no different to the eye than 1,000 others. And here, at last, the door to easy return has closed, not slammed, never slammed, but closed quietly. From beyond the sun's own country, from the space between the stars, return is no longer a journey of years. It is a journey of tens of thousands of years, at any speed a real ship could reach. The little spacecraft that crossed here ahead of you is moving faster than almost anything humans have ever flung outward, and even so, to cross the true gulf to the nearest other star at its pace would take longer than all of recorded history several times over. Could you still turn back? The words grow thin. In principle, yes. In truth, no life could make the crossing home. The road still runs both ways, only in the way that a road across an ocean runs both ways to a person with no ship. It is there. You cannot walk it. And yet, even here, even at this true and final shore of home, there is no despair, only a vast and quiet awe, because think of what has happened. The sun, your sun, the small warm coin you have watched shrink through every step of this journey, reaches this far. Its breath fills this enormous bubble, and only here, unthinkably far past the last of its worlds, does that breath finally give way. The sun is larger than you ever knew. Not the burning ball itself, but its reach, its influence, its quiet outward breath, filling a realm so vast that its own farthest planet floats deep, deep inside it, close to the warm center after all. You have been inside the sun's country this entire time, and only now are you truly leaving it. So rest a while here at the invisible shore, in the mingling of two winds, the last breath of home and the first breath of the wider dark. There is nothing to see and nothing to hold, only the crossing itself, the quiet passage out of the sun's long reach and into the space between the stars. The thread of light behind you is one star now, among many, and you could still turn back to it only in dreams, only in tens of thousands of years no life could hold. But you do not have to turn back tonight, and you do not have to cross the gulf ahead. You have only to float here, at the edge of home's whole country. where two winds meet and let the crossing be gentle and slow and quiet as a held breath and rest. Float on now out past the invisible shore where the sun's wind gave way into the true space between the stars, and here you enter something so vast and so strange that it hardly seems to belong to the same journey at all, for the sun does not truly end at the heliopause. Its gravity, its faint far pull, reaches out much, much farther still, and it holds, in a great thin shell all around itself, a cloud of frozen comets, uncountable, more than there are grains of sand on all the beaches of the earth, drifting slow and cold and far apart in the enormous dark. This is the Oort cloud, say it plainly, Oort, a shell of sleeping comets wrapped around the sun at a distance so great it is measured not in miles, but in the years light takes to cross it, a shell that begins far out here and reaches nearly a full light year deep toward the next star. You cannot stand here so drift among the sleeping comets, each one a mountain of dark ice, each one so far from the next that if you stood upon one, you would see no other, only the scattered stars and the faint bright point that was your sun. These comets have slept out here since the beginning, since the worlds were made, cast out to this cold shell and left to drift. And once in a long, long while, one of them feels a distant nudge and begins the slow, slow fall inward, taking 1,000,000 years to reach the warm center, to round the sun in a blaze of light, and then to swing back out into the cold and sleep again. You are in the outermost nursery of the comets, the vast, slow shell at the true edge of the sun's hold. Turn now and look for the thread of light behind you, and the sun is smaller than ever, a faint bright star amongst others, giving nothing, warming nothing, only a point you keep, out of habit, glancing back toward. And you understand something now about how far you have come. To cross this shell of comets from its near edge to its far edge would take light itself the better part of a year, and you are no light. To cross it in any real ship would take tens of thousands of years, and to cross it going home, back inward through the whole slow shell toward that faint bright star, would take just as long. The Oort cloud is so vast that crossing it, either way, outlasts everything. It outlasts nations, it outlasts languages, it outlasts many times over the whole span of everything human beings have ever built, or written, or remembered. And so the words, "could I still turn back," have grown very quiet now, almost too quiet to say. To turn back from here would take tens of thousands of years, would outlast every civilization that has ever risen or will ever rise, would begin in one age of the world and end in an age unimaginably distant. Could you still turn back? Only in the way a single drop of water could return upstream to the cloud it fell from. In principle, in the slow arithmetic of gravity, studied perhaps. In any way that a living thing could hold, no. The road home has become longer than history. And still, softly, there is no despair in it, because you are not falling and you are not lost. You are only drifting among the sleeping comets in the great slow shell, and the drifting is peaceful beyond anything you have known. For this is the strangest comfort of the whole journey so far, that even here, a light year out in a shell of ice so vast that crossing it outlasts civilizations, you are still held. The sun still holds these comets, and it still, faintly, holds you. Its pull has not let go, even now, even here, at the very last edge of everything it owns. You have come almost a full light year from your bed, and still invisibly, the smallest thread of home's gravity reaches you, holding you in the shell with the sleeping comets, as gently as a hand laid on a sleeping child. So rest a while among the sleeping comets, in the vast slow shell, in the deepest quiet there is. There is no hurry here, and there never will be, for the comets themselves take 1,000,000 years to fall and 1,000,000 years to return, and they are in no rush at all. The thread of light behind you is a faint, bright star, and you could turn back to it only across tens of thousands of years, longer than all of history. But history is very far away tonight, and so are all its ages, and there is only the great slow shell, and the sleeping ice, and the faint far star, and the last soft thread of home still holding you in the dark. Let it hold you. Drift and sleep. Drift out now through the last of the sleeping comets, across the final reaches of the sun's long hold, and cross the great empty gulf between your sun and the next. A gulf so wide and so dark and so utterly, without anything that for most of the crossing there is nothing at all. No world, no comet, no dust, only the deep between the stars dark and the far scattered points of light. And then, slowly, one of those points ahead of you grows a little and steadies and becomes not a point, but a small dim ember of a star, a faint red coal glowing quietly in the dark. The nearest star to your sun in all the galaxy, and its name is Proxima. Say it plainly, Proxima. And it holds a small world close against its warmth, a world called Proxima b. Draw near and float above that small world in the red light of its little sun. Proxima is a dim star, a red dwarf, far smaller and far cooler than your own sun, glowing a deep, quiet red, and the world that circles it huddles close for warmth, so close that its year is only a handful of days, so close that it likely keeps one face always toward the ember and one face always toward the dark. And so this small world has an eternal red day on one side and an eternal frozen night on the other, and a thin ring of endless red dusk between them where, if anything lives here at all, it might live in the perpetual glow of a sunset that never ends. You float above it in that red light, the first world of another star, and it is quiet and strange and washed in the color of embers. Turn now and look for the thread of light behind you, and here is a thing that will move you gently in the dark. Your sun is there. You can find it. It is not lost, but it is only a star now, an ordinary yellow star among the thousands, no brighter than many, and you would have to know exactly where to look to pick it out from its neighbors. The thread of light behind you has finally become what every star in your own night sky always was to someone, somewhere, a distant sun with, perhaps, a small blue world beside it, too faint and far to see. Your whole sun, your whole warm center, everything is now just one modest point of light among the scattered many, and you understand softly that you have crossed from your own star to another. And here the question of turning back has passed almost beyond speaking. This is the nearest other star, the closest one there is. And even so, the gulf you have crossed to reach it is so vast that its light, leaving now, will not reach your old sky for over 4 years, and any real ship, at any speed we can dream of building, would take not years, but many long human lifetimes to make the crossing. Could you still turn back? The honest answer now is no, not you, not in a life, not in 10 lives. A signal could still return, crawling home across 4 years and more, but no body could. The road home is longer than a life. You have crossed to another star, and the crossing is a one-way thing for anything that breathes. And still, there is no despair here, only a quiet and enormous wonder, because look, you have done it. You have crossed the gulf between the stars. The thing that seemed impossible at every step, the deep dark nothing between one sun and the next, you have crossed it. And here on the far side is another sun, a small red ember, with a small world huddled close in its glow. The stars are not alone. They have worlds. This nearest one has a world, hanging in its red dusk. And who is to say what waits in that endless twilight ring between the eternal day and the eternal night? You are the farthest from home you have ever been, and yet you are not in emptiness. You are at another hearth, another small fire in the dark, another sun with another world beside it. So rest a while here in the red light of Proxima, above the small world in its endless dusk, at the first hearth beyond your own. The little red ember glows steady and quiet and warm in its own way, warming its huddled world, and the thin ring of eternal sunset glows softly between the day side and the night. Your own sun is one star now among the many, home lost somewhere in the scattered light, and you could not turn back to it now in 100 lifetimes. But you do not need to turn back tonight. You have crossed to another star and found it warm, and found a world beside it, and there is nothing to do here but float in the red dusk at the nearest hearth beyond home, and let its quiet red warmth fold over you and rest. Leave the red ember of Proxima behind you and its small world in the endless dusk, and drift onto a nearby star, one of the closest of all the suns. Neighbors, a quiet old red star that moves across the sky faster than any other as seen from home, sliding steadily against the far background year by year, so that of all the stars, it is the great wanderer, the one that will not hold still. It is a small, cool ember like Proxima, dim and red and ancient, older by far than your own sun, and its name is Barnard's Star, and it drifts through the dark alone, without any world we have ever confirmed, a solitary old coal wandering the space between the stars. Draw near and float in the faint red light of Barnard's Star. It is a small, cool, aged thing, one of the oldest stars near home, so old it may have been burning quietly, since not long after the galaxy itself was young, and it will go on burning its slow red fire for longer than you can imagine, longer than your own sun will last many times over, for the small red stars are the misers of the sky, hoarding their fuel, burning low and slow and lasting almost forever. It gives little light and less warmth, a deep, dim red glow, and it moves, always moves, sliding through the dark at a pace that would carry it clear across your old night sky in only a few thousand years, a lonely wanderer that never rests. Turn now and look for the thread of light behind you, and your sun is one small point among the many, harder to find than ever, for you have moved again, and the stars have shifted their arrangement, and the patterns of your old night sky are beginning to come apart, the familiar shapes pulling loose as you view them from a new place in the dark. The thread of light behind you is a modest point you must search for, and around it the old constellations you once knew are dissolving, their stars scattered to new positions by the simple fact of your having moved. Home is still there, but its sky is no longer your sky. And the road home now would outlast a human life, several times over. Barnard's star is a little farther even than Proxima, its light taking about 6 years to reach your old sky, and the crossing home in any ship that could truly be built would take not one lifetime but many generations living and dying along the way, so that whoever finally arrived would be the distant descendant of whoever set out, arriving at a home none of them had ever seen, only heard of, only carried as a story. Could you still turn back? No, not you, not your children, perhaps your children's children's children if a whole line of lives gave themselves to the crossing. The road home has become longer than a life, longer than several lives laid end to end. And yet, there is no despair here, only a strange companionship, because look at this old wanderer beside you, this ancient red ember sliding steadily through the dark. It too is far from where it began. It too is moving, always moving, crossing the galaxy at its own slow pace, alone. And it does not grieve and it does not stop, and it will go on burning its patient red fire long after your sun has cooled, long after the last human question has been asked, long after everything. There is a kind of peace in its company, in drifting a while beside something so old and so unhurried and so utterly at home. In the between the stars dark, something that has been traveling far longer than you and will travel far longer still and carries no grief about it at all. So rest a while in the dim red light of the great wanderer at the side of one of the oldest fires near home. It slides on through the dark, slow and steady and ancient, in no hurry, bound for nowhere in particular, content simply to burn and to drift. Your own sun is one small point behind you, its old constellations coming apart, home lost among the shifting stars, and you could not return to it now at a single life, nor in several. But you do not have to return tonight. You are drifting beside an old red ember that has wandered the dark since the youth of the galaxy, and will wander it long after, and there's a deep, quiet company in that, in being far from home together, unhurried, at peace. Let the old wanderer carry you along a while in its patient red glow, and rest. Leave the old red wanderer behind you now, sliding on through the dark, and go outward to a brighter, younger fire, the brightest star in all of your old night sky. The one that blazed low over winter horizons and flickered through every color as it rose. The great white dog star that hunters and sailors and whole civilizations steered their years by. It is a hot young star, blazing brilliant white, far brighter and far hotter than your own sun, with a small dead companion circling it, the burnt-out cinder of a star that died long ago, and its name is Sirius. Say it plainly, Sirius, and you are going to see it from the far side, from out here, where it is no longer the brightest star in anyone's familiar sky. Draw near and float in the fierce white light of Sirius. It is a young, hot, brilliant thing, burning bright and blue-white, and far more fiercely than your gentle yellow sun, pouring out light with a young star's careless abundance. And it will not last as your sun lasts, for the bright hot stars burn fast and die young, spending in a mere flash of cosmic time what the small red misers hoard for near eternity. And close beside it circles its secret, a tiny white dwarf, the collapsed dead heart of a star that once was even grander than Sirius itself, now shrunk to a cinder the size of a world, but heavier than a sun, so dense that a spoonful of it would weigh as much as a mountain, circling the bright star in the dark like a memory of what it used to be. Turn now and look for the thread of light behind you, and your sun, is lost in the crowd. This is the change at this rung, the small, quiet grief of it. From out here, from the far side of Sirius, your sun is no longer easy to find at all. It is only one modest yellow point among a great scattering of others, no brighter than its neighbors, indistinguishable to any eye that did not already know precisely where to look. The thread of light behind you has dissolved at last into the general glittering crowd of the stars. Home is somewhere in that crowd, but you could no longer point to it. You could no longer say, there, that one, that is my sun. It has become one anonymous point of light in a sky full of points, exactly as every star has always been to everyone. And the road home is a thing of legend now, not of travel. Sirius lies more than 8 years of light from your old sky, and the crossing home would outlast not several lives, but many, whole long chains of generations, so that the very language spoken by those who set out would have changed beyond recognition by the time their descendants arrived, if any arrived at all. Could you still turn back? The question has become almost a fairy tale, a thing you might tell a child. Once there was a world called home, and it was so far away that no one who left it could ever return. In truth, no, there is no turning back from here. There is only the crowd of stars, and somewhere in it, unfindable, the small warm point you came from. And yet, even now, even lost in the crowd, there is no despair, only a widening awe, because look how the stars differ, one from another, each with its own fire and its own fate. Here is Sirius, young and hot and brilliant and short-lived, blazing white with a dead companion at its side. There was Barnard's old and cool and patient and near eternal. There was Proxima, a dim red ember with a world in its dusk. And somewhere behind you, lost in the glitter, is your own sun, yellow and steady and middling and kind, neither the brightest nor the dimmest, neither the hottest nor the oldest, an ordinary good star among a sky full of extraordinary ones. And it is the one that made you, and it is the one you cannot find. So rest a while in the brilliant white light of Sirius, at the side of the great dog star and its cinder companion, out here where your own sun has vanished into the crowd. The bright star blazes on, careless and young and beautiful, and its dead companion circles it in the dark, and your home is lost somewhere in the glittering multitude behind you. No longer a thread of light you can trace, but only a knowledge that it is there, out there, one point among the many. You could not turn back to it now in 100 generations, but you do not need to find it tonight. It is enough to know it is there, somewhere in the crowd, one steady yellow star among the countless, and to float here in the white light and rest. Leave the brilliant white light of Sirius behind you now, your own sun long since lost in the crowd, and rise up and outward to see something you have been inside of this whole time without ever knowing it. For your sun and all its near neighbors, and Sirius and Proxima and the old wanderer, all of them together, have been coasting for ages through a great hollow in space, a vast bubble of especially thin and empty gas, scooped out long ago by the deaths of ancient stars. And you are approaching the wall of that bubble now, the edge of the hollow, the place where the thin emptiness gives way to the thicker gas and dust beyond. This is the edge of the local bubble, the hollow that home has been drifting through since before there were human beings to look up. You cannot stand on it, so float at the wall of the great hollow and understand where you have been living all along. your sun did not sit in ordinary space. It has been coasting for millions of years through the inside of an enormous cavity blown clean by the shock waves of dying stars long ago, a region so empty that even the thin gas between the stars is thinner here than almost anywhere, a great quiet bubble tens of light years across with your home drifting somewhere near its middle. And here at last is its edge, its wall, where the emptiness ends and the denser dark begins. Cool clouds of gas and dust gathered at the rim of the hollow, faintly glowing, the shore of the bubble you never knew you were sailing in. Turn now and look back across the whole hollow toward home, and you cannot find your sun at all, not even in principle, for it is one dim point somewhere far across the bubble, buried in the scattered thousands, and even the crowd of stars you knew has become only a part of a much greater crowd. But you can see now the shape of the hollow you came from, the great dark quiet bubble, and you understand that everything you ever called the night sky, every star that ever hung over your bed, was only the near inside wall of this one small hollow, a handful of close lights in a cavity adrift in something far larger. The thread of light behind you is not even a star anymore that you could name. It is a direction. It is only the way back toward the middle of the bubble, and the road home has passed entirely out of the realm of travel and into the realm of ages. The wall of the bubble lies hundreds of light years from home. To return from here would take not generations, but the rise and fall of whole species, spans of time in which mountains wear down and new ones lift, in which the very shape of the continents changes. Could you still turn back? The question no longer even fits. There is no turning back across an ocean of time like that, no ship, no line of descendants long enough, no purpose that could survive the crossing. Home is not a place you left an hour ago. It is a place at the far side of an emptiness so wide that reaching it again would outlast everything that has a name. And yet, floating at the wall of the great hollow, there is no despair, only a deep and settling calm. Because look how sheltered you have been. All this time, your whole life, all of history, everything had been carried gently through the inside of this quiet hollow, this clean and empty bubble adrift in the dust, a calm, sheltered pocket in the crowded dark. Home did not drift through danger. It drifted through a clearing, a quiet open space swept clean long ago. And it has been sailing peacefully across that clearing for longer than there have been human eyes to notice. And it will go on sailing across it long after. You were always somewhere sheltered. You just never knew the shape of the shelter until now. So rest a while at the wall of the great hollow. The shore of the bubble home has been sailing through since before memory. The cool clouds glow faintly at the rim. Behind you, across the whole quiet emptiness, lies the direction of home. No longer a star you can name, but only a way back through the clearing. You could not return across it now in the whole lifetime of your species. But there is no crossing to make tonight, and no ages to traverse. There is only the quiet wall of the hollow, and the faint glow of its distant clouds, and the deep sheltered calm of the clearing you came from, still carrying everything you love gently through the dark. Let that shelter hold you, the way it has always held you, and rest. Rise now past the wall of the great hollow, higher and farther, until you lift clear enough to see the lane you have been traveling in all along, the long river of stars that home belongs to, for your sun and the hollow it sails in, and the bubbles cool clouds and all the near stars you have passed are strung along one of the great spiral lanes of the galaxy, a broad sweeping arm of stars and gas and glowing clouds curving through the dark. And it has a name, this lane of ours. And its name is the Orion Arm, and you are rising now to see it whole, to see the road you live on from above. You cannot stand here, so float high above your own lane of the galaxy and look at it stretched out below and around you. It is a long river of light, this arm, a sweeping band of countless stars and dark dust and shining clouds where new stars are being born, curving away in both directions farther than you can follow, and your whole life and all of human history and everything you passed on this journey so far, every star and every world lies somewhere along one modest stretch of this one arm, this one lane among several that wind out from the galaxy's bright heart. You have risen above your own street, at last, and seen that it is a street, a long glowing avenue of suns, and that home is one small unmarked house upon it. Turn now and look for the direction of home, and it is only that now, a direction. A stretch of the glowing arm no different to the eye from any other stretch, for your sun is one anonymous point among the millions strung along the lane, wholly lost, utterly indistinguishable, a single dust mote of light in a river of light. The thread of light behind you is gone as a thing you could ever point to. It is only a region, a part of the arm, the way you might wave a hand at a whole distant neighborhood and say, somewhere over there, without being able to name the house or the window or the room where the light is on. And the road home would now outlast recorded history many times over. To travel back along the arm to that lost stretch where home lies would take spans of time in which whole human histories could rise and fall and be forgotten and rise again. Thousands upon thousands of years, tens of thousands more, an amount of time so much greater than everything human beings have ever done or built or remembered that the comparison stops meaning anything at all. Could you still turn back? The words have become a kind of music now, a refrain with the meaning worn soft, for there is no turning back along a road that outlasts history itself. Home is a direction and a distance, and both of them are past all reaching. And still floating above your own bright lane, there is no despair, only a slow expanding wonder, because look how much company you have. You thought, perhaps, at the wall of the hollow, that home was small and alone. But here is your whole arm, your whole long river of suns, millions upon millions of them, each one a star, and many of them surely with worlds, and your sun is simply one of that vast, glowing multitude, strung along the same great avenue, sharing the same slow sweep around the galaxy's distant heart. You are not from a lonely place. You are from a crowded, shining, generous lane of the galaxy, one house among millions on a long, bright street. And the street itself is beautiful, curving away into the dark in both directions, thick with light, thick with other suns. So rest a while here, high above your own bright lane of the galaxy, above the long river of suns that home belongs to. The arm sweeps away below you in both directions, glowing, crowded, alive with the births and deaths of stars, and somewhere along one modest stretch of it, lost among the millions, is the small point that made you. You could not travel back to it now, in 100 ages of the world, but there is no journey to make tonight and no ages to cross. There is only the long, bright river of stars laid out below you, your own lane, your own street, more crowded and more beautiful than you ever knew, and the quiet knowledge that home is somewhere along it, one lit window among millions, one house on a shining avenue. Let the whole bright arm hold you, and rest. Rise now above your own bright lane, above the long river of suns, and turn your gaze inward, toward the center of everything, toward the still and hidden heart around which the whole vast wheel of the galaxy slowly, slowly turns. For the arm you live on is not still, it is sweeping, along with all the other arms and all their hundreds of billions of stars, in a great majestic circle around a single point far off in the crowded inner glow. And at that point, at the very center of the wheel, there is something you cannot see and could never look upon, a place where gravity has pulled so much into so small a space that not even light can climb back out. This is the heart of the galaxy, and the dark thing at its center has a name, Sagittarius A. Say it plainly, Sagittarius A, and everything, every star, every arm, every world, and home among them, turns slowly around it. You cannot go near it, and you would not wish to, so float at a safe and reverent distance and simply understand it. At the center of the galaxy, wrapped in a dense and blazing crowd of stars, packed far closer together than any sky you have ever known, there is a black hole, a place where a mass of millions of suns has collapsed into a single dark point, so heavy and so deep that the light which falls toward it never returns, so that it sits at the heart of all that brilliance as a perfect stillness, a silence, a dark and patient center holding the whole enormous wheel together by the sheer weight of its pull, and around it, in the crowded inner glow, stars swing in great swift orbits, and farther out, in the quiet arms, your sun and all its neighbors drift along their own vast, slow circle, taking hundreds of millions of years to go once around. Turn now and look for the direction of home. And home is out there somewhere on the turning rim, one point among the hundreds of billions, so far out from this bright center, so lost in the multitude that there is no finding it, no pointing to it, nothing to see but the general glow of the wheel you belong to. But feel this softly as you float near the still heart. Home is not falling in. Home is not being swallowed. Home is turning gently, safely, far out on the quiet rim, held in a wide and stately circle by this dark center, carried around and around through the ages, neither drawn in nor flung away, but kept, balanced, held in the long, slow turning that has cradled it since before it was a world. And the road home from the galaxy's heart is a thing beyond all measure of travel or of history or of life. It is a distance so great that light itself, crossing it, spends tens of thousands of years upon the way. To return would take longer than the galaxy takes to turn a meaningful part of its own great circle. Could you still turn back? The refrain is almost silence now. There is no turning back from the heart of the galaxy. No ship, no signal a living thing could wait for, no span of ages long enough to hold the crossing. And yet there is no despair in it, only the deepest awe you have felt yet, because you are looking at the still point that holds everything, the dark, quiet center around which your whole world has been turning, unknowing its whole existence. For here is the strange piece of the galaxy's heart. Everything turns around it. Your sun, your world, your whole life, every dawn you ever watched and every night you ever slept through, all of it has been carried in a great slow circle around this one still dark point, this patient center. And you never felt the motion, never knew you were turning, because the turning is so vast and so smooth and so gentle that from inside it feels like perfect stillness. You have been dancing this whole time, you and everyone you love, in a slow circle hundreds of millions of years wide around a still dark heart. And it has held you the entire time, and it holds you now, and it will hold you long after. So rest a while at a reverent distance from the still heart of the galaxy, in the blaze of its crowded inner stars, near the dark, quiet center that holds the whole wheel turning. Home is out on the far rim, lost among the hundreds of billions, turning gently, safely, held. You could not return to it now, across the whole width of the galaxy in any span a life could hold. But you do not have to return tonight, and there is no crossing to begin. There is only the great slow wheel and its still dark heart, and the deep knowledge that you have been turning around it safely, all along, cradled in a circle too vast to feel. Let the great slow turn-in carry you, as it always has, and rest. Leave the still dark heart of the galaxy behind you now, and rise up and out, away from the crowded center, out past the sweeping arms until you climb clear above the whole flat wheel of stars and into the quiet dark that surrounds it. For the galaxy is not only its bright spiral disk, around and above, and below that shining wheel there is a vast dim halo, a great sphere of thin scattered stars and ancient star cities. And drifting out here in that halo is the grandest of those cities, a dense and glittering ball of many hundreds of thousands of the oldest stars packed into a glowing swarm, one of the first things the galaxy ever made, and its name is Omega Centauri. Say it plainly, Omega Centauri. Draw near and float beside this ancient swarm in the quiet of the halo. Omega Centauri is a globe of stars, a single tight ball of many hundreds of thousands of suns. So old they were burning when the galaxy was newborn, so densely gathered that near its heart the night sky would blaze with thousands of bright stars, the dark barely dark at all, a perpetual glittering twilight. It has drifted out here in the halo for almost the whole life of the galaxy, circling the great wheel from outside, a relic of the beginning, a city of ancient suns that has watched the spiral turn below it for longer than there has been anything on Earth. Turn now and look back at the wheel you came from. And here is a sight to still your breath. You can see it whole. The entire galaxy, the whole vast spiral disk with its sweeping arms and its bright, crowded heart and its hundreds of billions of stars, all of it laid out below you at once, a single glowing wheel of light turning slowly in the dark, small enough now that you could hold it up like a coin at arm's length, like a luminous coin of 100 billion suns. And somewhere in that coin, somewhere in one of the faint outer arms, too small ever to find, is home. Everything you have ever known is a single invisible mote in one arm of a wheel you can now cover with your thumb. And the road home has left the realm of distance entirely and entered the realm of the impossible. To return from the galaxy's halo to that lost mote in the disk would take not tens of thousands of years, but far, far longer, spans of time that outlast the very species that first looked up and wondered, could you still turn back? The refrain has almost faded to nothing, a whisper you say now only out of habit and tenderness, for there is no turning back from outside the galaxy, no road, no ship, no line of lives, no meaning left in the asking. Home is a mote in a coin of light you hold at arm's length. And still, there is no despair, because look what you can finally see, only from all the way out here, only by having left it so completely, the whole shining wheel of home entire, and how beautiful it is. For this is the gift that only distance gives. You could never see the galaxy whole from inside it. You could never see the wheel while you were turning within the wheel. You had to leave, to rise all the way up and out into the halo, past the ancient swarm, to look back and finally see the entire glowing shape of the place you came from, laid out at once, turning slowly, complete. Home was too large to see until you had gone impossibly far from it. And now that you can see it, all of it, held like a luminous coin against the dark, you understand that it was always this beautiful, always this vast, always this full of light, and you simply lived too close inside it ever to know. So rest a while here beside the ancient swarm, in the quiet halo above the galaxy, with the whole great wheel of home laid out below you like a coin of 100 billion suns. The old city of stars glitters at your side, drifting as it has drifted since the beginning, and the spiral turns slowly beneath you, complete, entire, more beautiful than you could ever have seen from within. Home is a mote in one of its faint arms, past all finding, past all returning. But there is no journey to make tonight, and no ages to cross, and the refrain has faded to a whisper you no longer need. There is only the ancient swarm and the quiet halo, and the whole shining wheel of home held gently against the dark, and the deep peace of seeing, at last, how lovely the place you came from truly is. Let that seeing settle over you and rest. Leave the ancient swarm and the quiet halo behind you now, and drift out farther still, out beyond the galaxy altogether, across a gulf of true emptiness far greater than any within the galaxy itself, until the whole shining wheel of home shrinks behind you and a new light grows ahead, a soft, luminous smudge that becomes, as you near it, a whole other galaxy of its own, a smaller companion that circles the great wheel from far outside, a ragged, glowing cloud of young blue stars and vast pink clouds where new suns are being born by the thousands, and its name is the Large Magellanic Cloud, and it is the nearest of Home's companion galaxies, a small satellite drifting in the dark alongside the greater wheel. Float now within this companion cloud, among its bright young stars and its enormous glowing nurseries of gas, and understand where you have come. This is not a part of your galaxy. This is another galaxy, smaller, wilder, blazing with the birth of new stars, its great pink clouds among the largest star nurseries known, whole regions light years across where thousands of new suns are kindling at once. It drifts alongside the Milky Way, bound to it, circling it across unimaginable ages, a companion in the dark, close as galaxies measure closeness, and yet so far from home that the light you see leaving it now will cross to your old sky over more than 100,000 years. Turn now and look back at the Milky Way entire, and there it is, the whole galaxy of home, seen from outside, from another galaxy altogether, the full spiral wheel hanging in the dark, its bright bar and sweeping arms and glowing heart all laid out at once, a great island of 100 billion suns floating alone in the emptiness, and somewhere within it, in one dim outer arm, past all seeing, past all finding, is the single mote that is your sun, and around that mote, smaller than small, the warm blue world or you are lying in your bed. You are looking at your entire galaxy from the deck of another, and everything you have ever known is inside that one hanging wheel of light. And the road home would now outlast the species itself. To cross back from this companion cloud to that lost mote in the wheel would take spans of time in which humankind might rise and change and vanish and be replaced by whatever comes after. An amount of time so vast that it dwarfs the whole story of life on Earth. Could you still turn back? The refrain is only tenderness now, a thing you murmur to the dark with no expectation behind it, for there is no turning back across the gulf between galaxies. None, not for any living thing, not for any purpose, not in any span that the mind can truly hold. And yet, once more, there is no despair, because home is not diminished by being far. It hangs there entire, whole, shining, an island of 100 billion suns, and it is yours, and you came from it. And no distance can make it not be the place that made you. For here is the deepening truth of this whole long outward journey. Home has not grown smaller. You have grown farther. The wheel of the galaxy hanging in the dark is exactly as vast, exactly as full of light, exactly as beautiful as it ever was, holding all its 100 billion suns, holding your sun among them, holding the warm blue world and the dark bedroom and the weight of you against the bed. Nothing of it has been lost. It is all still there, all of it, entire, and you are only looking at it now from very far away, the way you might stand across a wide, dark valley at night and see the single lit window of the house you grew up in, small with distance, and know that inside it, still, is everything. So rest a while here within the companion cloud, among its blazing young stars and its great pink nurseries, with the whole wheel of home hanging entire in the dark before you. The new suns kindle by the thousands in the glowing clouds around you. The galaxy of home floats there complete, an island of light, with everything you love somewhere inside it, past all finding but not past all knowing. You could not cross back to it now in the whole remaining lifetime of your kind. But there is no crossing to begin tonight, and the refrain asks nothing of you anymore. There is only the bright companion cloud and the wheel of home hanging whole in the dark, small with distance, holding everything, its single lit window shining across the valley of the night. Look at it a while longer and rest. Leave the bright companion cloud behind you now, and the whole wheel of home hanging in the dark, and cross a gulf so enormous that it dwarfs everything you have crossed before. The true deep emptiness between the great galaxies, mostly nothing, mostly dark, for a span so wide that light itself spends millions of years upon. The crossing, and ahead of you slowly another island grows, another great spiral wheel, larger even than your own, turning grandly in the dark, the nearest of the great galaxies to home, the one your ancestors could just barely see with their own eyes on the darkest nights, a faint smudge of light they had no idea was a whole other universe of stars, and its name is Andromeda. Say it plainly, Andromeda. Float now at the edge of Andromeda before its vast and stately spiral, and understand the size of what you are seeing. It is a galaxy like your own but grander, a great wheel of perhaps 1 trillion stars, its arms sweeping out in enormous graceful curves, its heart glowing gold, turning with a slowness so majestic that in a whole human lifetime, it would not appear to move at all. And here is the quiet wonder that binds it to home. Andromeda and the Milky Way are falling toward each other, across the vast gulf between them, and drawn by their own gravity, the two great wheels are slowly approaching, and in a span of billions of years they will meet and pass through each other and merge, their stars gliding past one another in the dark, and become, at the last, one single greater galaxy. Turn now and look back for home. And your galaxy is a wheel in the distance, one of the two great islands drifting toward their far-off meeting, and somewhere within it, past all finding, is the mote of your sun and the warm world beside it. The thread of light behind you is a whole galaxy now, seen from outside, one of a pair of wheels falling slowly together across the dark. And you understand, floating between the two great islands, that home has become not a star, not an arm, not even a wheel you could point to, but simply one of the two galaxies in this slow embrace, the smaller and nearer of the pair, the one you happen to come from. And the road home has passed wholly beyond the reach of anything that lives or thinks. To return across the gulf between the galaxies would take millions of years, even at the speed of light itself, and far longer for anything real. Spans of time that outlast not just your species, but perhaps all the species that will ever be. Could you still turn back? The refrain has become a lullaby with the words half dissolved, something you hum now to the dark. Not because you mean to go back, but because the sound of it is gentle. There is no turning back between the galaxies. And yet, there is no despair. Because look, home is not still. Home is not simply receding into the dark, lost and dwindling. Home is falling toward another galaxy, joining it, reaching across the emptiness toward a companion of its own. Even the galaxies do not drift alone. Even they reach for each other across the dark. For this is the tenderness that waits at the scale of galaxies. You might have thought that out here, between the great islands, everything would be lonely beyond bearing, each galaxy adrift and separate in an ocean of nothing. But no, they are drawn together. Your galaxy and this one are falling into a slow, billion-year embrace, and they will meet and merge and make something new and greater than either. And this is not a collision to fear, but a joining, a coming together written into the shape of things, gravity reaching across the emptiness to gather the islands in. Even at the largest scale you have yet reached, the universe is not pulling apart, it is pulling together. Home is fallen into an embrace. So rest a while here between the two great islands, before the grand slow wheel of Andromeda, with the galaxy of home behind you, the two of them falling gently toward their far-off meeting across the ages. The great spiral turns before you, majestic and unhurried, a trillion suns wheeling in the dark. Home is one of the pair, the nearer one, the one you came from, reaching slowly across the emptiness toward this greater companion. You could not return to it now in a span that any mind could hold, but there is no journey to make tonight, and the refrain has softened to a hum. There is only the vast, slow embrace of the galaxies, gravity gathering the islands together across the dark, and the quiet knowledge that home, even now, even here, is not adrift and not alone, but falling gently toward a companion of its own. Let that gathering hold you too, and rest. Leave the grand slow wheel of Andromeda behind you now, and the two great islands falling toward their embrace, and rise up to see the whole small family they belong to, the little cluster of galaxies bound together in one gravitational neighborhood, drifting through the greater dark as a single loose company. For your galaxy and Andromeda and the bright companion clouds and a scattering of smaller galaxies all belong together, held to one another by their mingled gravity, a few dozen islands traveling as one, and this whole small company has a name, the local group, and you are rising now to its very edge, to the boundary where its gathering pull runs out. You cannot stand here, so float at the edge of the local group, at the outer boundary of everything gravity still binds to home, and understand what this edge means. Everything inside this boundary, every galaxy of your little company is held, bound, falling gently among its neighbors, kept together across the ages by their shared pull, the way the planets are kept around a sun, the way the comets are kept in their far shell. Inside this boundary, things stay together. They circle and merge and gather and hold, and this is the edge of that holding, the last shore of the gathered family, the place beyond which the gravity of home and all its neighbors finally lets go. Turn now and look back at the whole local group, at your entire gathered family of galaxies, Andromeda and the Milky Way and all their smaller companions drifting together in the dark, and somewhere in the smaller of the two great wheels, past all finding the mote of your sun. And now, for the first time on this whole long journey, try to say the refrain and feel it falter in your mouth. You could still turn back. You have said it at every step from the Kármán line to the heart of the galaxy, said it as a comfort, said it as a truth, and it has grown slowly thinner all the way out from yes to yes but wait, to yes but across the years, to yes but across the ages, and always it was still, faintly, in some form, yes. But here, at the edge of the local group, something changes that has never changed before. Here it stops being about time at all. For here is the thing that no waiting could ever solve, the thing that no ship, however swift, and no line of lives, however long, could ever overcome. Beyond this boundary, the space between the galaxies is not still, it is stretching. The universe is expanding, growing, the dark between the distant galaxies swelling larger with every passing age, carrying them apart from one another faster, and faster the farther off they lie. Inside the local group, gravity is strong enough to hold against that stretching, to keep the family gathered. But past this edge, the stretching wins. Past this edge, the galaxies are not merely far. They are being carried away on the swelling of space itself, and the farther they are, the faster they recede, until at some great distance they are being carried off faster than any ship could ever chase, and faster in the end than light itself could ever cross. And so, at the edge of the local group, the refrain falters, and for the first time you cannot quite complete it. You could still turn back. You could still turn back if the road were only long, only slow, only a matter of ages and patience and generations. But the road is no longer merely long. The road itself is lengthening, stretching out beneath your feet faster than you could ever walk it. And beyond a certain point ahead, it will lengthen faster than light. Gravity can still pull you home from here, just barely, at the very edge of its reach. One step farther, and it cannot. One step farther, and it is not distance that keeps you, but the shape of space itself, growing, carrying you outward, closing the way home not with a wall, but with the widening of the dark. And yet, even here, even as the refrain falters in your mouth, there is no despair, only a great and gentle solemnity, because you are standing at the true edge at last, the boundary of the held and the unheld, the last shore of everything that home can gather to itself. Inside this line, you are bound, family, gathered, kept, and you are still inside it. You have not crossed. You stand at the very edge of the local group, at the last boundary of belonging, and you are still, even now, held. The refrain falters, but it has not yet failed. Not quite, not yet. So rest a while here at the edge of the gathered family, at the boundary of the held, with the whole local group drifting together behind you in the dark. Beyond you, the space begins to stretch. The galaxies begin their long carrying away. But you are on the near side still, the bound side, the side where things are kept together. Home is behind you, gathered with its neighbors, held. You could still turn back, barely, from here, at the very last edge of gravity's reach. But the words have grown solemn now, and slow, and you feel the great edge just ahead. Not tonight, though. Tonight you are still held. Let the holding cradle you one more time at the edge of belonging and rest. Cross now gently past the edge of the gathered family, past the last boundary of the held, out to where the space itself begins to carry you, and drift into a current so vast that it moves whole galaxies like leaves on a slow river. For beyond the local group, the galaxies are gathered into far greater assemblies, great streams and sheets and rivers of galaxies, thousands upon thousands of them flowing together across the dark, and your whole local group is being drawn along in one of these enormous flows, swept toward a distant gathering of galaxies too vast to name simply, part of a supercluster so large it has been given a word that means immeasurable heaven, and its name is Laniakea. Say it gently, Laniake. Ah, you cannot stand here, so let yourself drift in the great flow, in the slow river of galaxies that is carrying home along with it, and understand what has changed beneath your feet. You are no longer merely traveling through space. Space is traveling. The whole vast current of Laniakea is flowing, thousands of galaxies streaming together across hundreds of millions of light years toward a distant gathering point, and your galaxy and your sun and the warm world where you are lying is one drop in that immense, slow river, carried along, not moving of its own accord, but swept gently on the flow of everything. And the flow does not only gather, farther out, beyond the reach of even these great streams, the swelling of space is carrying the distant galaxies away, ever faster, ever farther, on the widening of the dark. Turn now and look back toward home, and you can no longer find your galaxy at all, nor your family of galaxies, nor even the great flow they belong to as anything you could point to, for you have been carried too far, and everything behind you has blurred into the general glowing web of the universe, the vast lacework of galaxies strung in filaments and sheets around great dark empty voids, and somewhere in one strand of that web, past all imagining, is the moat that made you. And now try to say the refrain and find that you cannot. You could still turn back. The words will not come because they are no longer true. It is not that the road home is long. It is that the road home is being carried away from you, faster than you could travel it, stretched and widened by the swelling of space itself, so that with every passing age, home is not merely far but farther, and receding faster, and the way back is closing not because of any distance you could cross, but because the ground between you and home is growing. For here is the great and final truth of the outward journey, the one you have been climbing toward since you left your bed. There was never going to be a wall. You looked at every step for the barrier, the door, the line drawn across the dark that said, no farther, no return. And there was no wall anywhere. There was only distance, and then time, and then, at the last, this, the quiet stretching of space itself, carrying the galaxies apart, so that the point of no return is not a place you crash into, but a current you are already drifting in, a widening you cannot swim against, gentle as a tide, and utterly without mercy, and utterly without malice. The way home does not close with a slam. It closes like a held breath let slowly out. It closes like the dark widening between two boats on a calm and endless sea. And still, even here, even as the refrain fails at last in your mouth, there is no despair, only the deepest peace you have felt on the whole long journey, because you understand now that this same slow outward stretching, this same widening of the dark that is carrying home away from you, is the very thing that made home in the first place. The same expansion that closes the road behind you is the breath that blew the galaxies apart from a single point long ago, that gave the stars room to form, that gave your sun its place on the quiet rim, that gave the earth its orbit and its oceans and its long, slow afternoons. The outward carrying that takes home from you is the same outward carrying that gave you home to begin with. It is not two things. It is one thing. The breath that made you is the breath that carries you away, and there is no anger in it, and no cruelty in it, only the slow, calm outward motion of everything there is. So rest a while here in the great flow of Laniakia, in the slow river of galaxies, carried along on the swelling of space toward the distant gathering. You cannot find home behind you now. You cannot say the refrain. The way back is closing, gently, in the widening of the dark. But it is the same widening that made you, the same outward breath, and there is nothing to fear in it and nothing to grieve, only the vast slow current carrying everything, home and you and all the galaxies together, outward, onward, into the deepening dark. Let the current carry you, the way it has always carried you, and rest. Drift on now one last time, carried in the great slow river of galaxies, out past the flows and the streams and the vast lacework of the cosmic web, out to the farthest edge there is, the edge that is not made of anything, the edge woven into the very shape of space, the place this whole long journey has been quietly climbing toward since you first rose from your bed and crossed out of the sky. This is the point of no return itself, the true one, the last one, and it has a name, the cosmological horizon. And here at last, the outward carrying of space becomes faster than light itself, so that beyond this edge, nothing, no ship, no signal, no light, no whisper, ever comes home again. You cannot stand here, for there is nothing to stand on, and there is no line to see, no wall, no door, nothing marked at all. There is only the quiet understanding of where you are. All this long way you looked for the barrier, and here, at the very last, you find that it was never a barrier. The horizon is only the distance at which the swelling of space carries the far galaxies away, faster than their light can cross the widening gap toward home. Beyond it, a light that set out toward home would never arrive, no matter how long it traveled, because the space it must cross grows faster than it can be crossed. It is not a wall in the dark. It is the dark itself widening. It is the shape of space and the way of things and the slow outward breath of everything made into an edge. And so, at last, you cannot say the refrain, and you understand softly that you never truly could. You could still turn back. You said it from the Kármán line, with the whole blue world filling the sky. You said it from the moon, with home a marble behind your thumb. You said it across the years from Mars, across the decades from the frozen planets, across the ages from the far stars and the wheeling galaxies, and slowly, all the way out, it thinned from a promise into a hope, into a hum, into a solemn hush. And now, here, at the cosmological horizon, it falls silent altogether, and in the silence you finally hear the truth that was underneath it all along. The thread of light behind you was never a rope. It was never something you could pull yourself back along, hiking hand over hand to safety. It only ever looked like a rope because you kept glancing back. It was always only light, only the shine of a home you carried the whole way out with you, in your chest, in your breath, in the weight of you against the bed. For here, at the point of no return, is the gentlest thing of all, the thing this whole long outward journey was carrying you toward. You cannot go home. That is true now, finally, completely true, in a way it was never quite true before. And it does not matter. It does not hurt the way you feared it would back at the beginning, when turning back was still easy, and the losing of it still seemed like the worst thing. Because home was never the place you could return to. Home was never the marble or the arm or the wheel or the gathered family of galaxies. Home was the warmth you brought with you the whole way out, past the sky and the moon and the frozen worlds and the far red embers and the turning galaxies, all the way to the last edge of everything. Home is here. It is in your chest, rising and falling. It is in the dark of the room. It is in the weight of your own body, settling now, at last, against the bed. And so the answer to the question you carried all this way, the question of how far you could travel before you could never come home, turns out to be no answer at all, or rather an answer that dissolves the question because you were never going to be able to come home, and you never needed to because you never truly left it. The point of no return is real. It is out here, woven into the shape of space, gentle and final and without any malice at all. But it is only the point past which the light cannot return. You are not the light. You are the warmth. And the warmth was always here, in the dark, in your breath, against the bed. The whole time, the entire way out, and it is here now. So rest. You have come as far goes, all the way to the last edge, the point of no return itself. And you have found there, of all things, permission. You could not turn back now. You do not need to. Let the outward breath that made the ground you are lying on carry you the last small way down, past the sky, past the worlds, past the stars, past the horizon of everything, down into sleep. The thread of light behind you was never a rope to be pulled. It was only ever the shine of a home you never left. You are home. You were always home. Let the outward carry you and rest and sleep.